Hello, my name is Gaetan Pelletier, and I want to share with you my permaculture design project. So the site is part of the woodlot that I own, about 40 acres. Out of it, about 6 acres are sustaining or able to have some gardens and some agriculture. We're at 1,000 feet of elevation. There's a significant stream on the east side of the property that can sustain a lot of water, but it's downhill. The site currently has an average slope of 10% going from west to east. There's already a dwelling on there and some farm buildings. So um, here's a here's an aerial view of the woodlot, part of a woodlot in red, and in yellow is the site that is subject to this design that I'm going to share with you. This is a digital elevation model that shows the terrain, um, contour lines at 2 meter intervals that show a very steady slope that goes from west to east. On the site of interest, there's already some buildings, a cottage, and some outbuildings. And in brown, we see some cultivated areas. And there's also a half-acre pond at the south end of this design. So a close-up view of the area. 2018 view during construction. This has changed a little bit, but not too much. And green are the pathways that are used for equipment, machinery, but also to walk around and access different features of the property. And again, in brown are the areas that are cultivated to grow vegetables and crops. So um, we can see here there's some beds and gardens. There's a small apple and pear tree orchard, garden boxes in the front, and then some fruit shrubs like juneberry and red and black currants. I did a sector analysis. So in purple is the area that is wet, too wet really to grow crops unless there's some work done. In blue is an area that is subject to the cold winter winds, not excessive winds, but nonetheless it can be windy here in the winter. Because all the area and the surrounding woodlots are wooded, we have a lot of what I call nuisance wildlife, so herbivores that will eventually come in and eat the crops. I'm talking about moose, groundhogs, really snowshoe hares, and the like. Um, because the site is pretty exposed and the only shade is from big spruce trees here to the east. In the summertime, much of the area can see very hot sun. But also in the winter, that sun is very important because the design of the cottage incorporates a passive solar. So this area in the front, we just want to make sure we don't plant and grow trees that will get tall and block sunlight in the winter. The existing zones. So right now, this area in gray is gravel, so driveway and parking. In salmon color are areas that are used to grow crops currently, and then buildings are in black and the pathway in green. But what's really astonishing is in white, what is not colored are areas really that are not serving a purpose, as we say, they are more or less wasted. So I did a water analysis. So obviously the wet area is of concern north and west of the site. But when the cottage was built, there was a lot of contouring and sloping and the incorporation of ditches. So this water coming from uphill is managed. And this ditch was also built so water from around the cottage, everything is sloped outwards, so water doesn't stay around. So overall, very good water management as it is. And from the roof, well, there's opportunities to use that water, but today it just goes to the ground and is redirected away from the dwelling. So the final design for phase one. Um, so the first thing that's going to be done is to extend the pathway here, so access is permitted to the new features that are built. One of those new features is a big fruit and shrub uh, garden uphill and to the west, and an area to grow wild fruit trees like raspberries and blackberries. Also, 3 new gardens. This one will be bio-intensive. This here is going to be a pumpkin and squash patch. And in the front, where much of the gravel from the excavation was taken, and it cannot grow crops easily there, we're going to plant some drought-resistant wild fruit trees and then flowers for pollinators. I'm going to extend the building here to have a shed to shelter the thermal pumps and the backup generator. I'm going to build a solar shed to put extra solar panels on there to have about 2,000 to 3,000 watts of solar panels. And I'm going to build a brand new solar passive greenhouse uphill from the existing greenhouse. Root cellar to store the crops in late summer and throughout the winter. And I'm going to plant more fruit trees like plum trees and cherry plum trees. Also throughout, plant some fruit shrubs, so all the space is used. Haskap, June berries, black currants, red currants, also some rhubarb in some places. So that's the design, and because of the presence of herbivore mammals, everything has to be fenced in. So a substantial amount of energy will be used just to fence all those new garden features. So the new water after the new design, obviously the wet area is still there, but I will build a ditch to divert, a second ditch to divert more of the water into the main ditch here. So the flow will stay the same after this amendment as usual, but because of the 2 new constructions, so this shed here will collect the water coming from the roof, and then we're going to have a gutter system and a downspout that goes into a 1,000 liter cistern. Same for the solar passive greenhouse, which half of it is a shed. So this water will be used for gardens instead of pumping water from the pond today or using water from the well. I'm also going to dig a mini pond or maybe a big well, open well, so that when the cisterns cannot keep up for the gardens, we can take this water gravity to the garden areas. So that's the design. A lot of work, but like you can tell, not ready to start yet. Still lots of snow here. What you see there is what has what is currently where the new sites will be. So a lot of work, and can't wait to start. Thank you.